This is going to be like the formal introduction to the railroad spikes and stuff like that. Now, this may be a little uncomfortable for some of you who have this whole God complex and stuff like that. So you might feel like this is a little bit going a little deep or whatever the case may be, but rest assured that this is not necessarily anything that is deemed evil or bad. You know, it's just a more hands-on experience with your spirituality. Does anybody have any comments about that? Okay. Any comments about that? I know there needs to at least be one. And just unmute yourself and talk. If you have any comments. How do you feel? How have you felt about having the railroad spikes in your possession?
Good.
Good. What about some of you? Anxiety?
Powerful.
Powerful. Okay.
Definitely feel something. Every time I go around my spikes, I feel something. I be like, "Oh, bitch, okay."
For sure. You know, and so railroad spikes are like the precipice of magic. Okay. You know, like our ancestors used the railroad spikes a very long time ago to do like hoodoo, voodoo, and certain simplistic integrations of magic in their life. So that's why the railroad spikes really are kind of like the originators of the voodoo doll forum. They mimic their owner's energy. Okay, so they mimic their owner's desires. So from the very first moment that you got the railroad spikes and you own them, they begin to mimic your energy and amplify your desires or amplify your fears. Okay, submerging them in the rainwater is what cleanses them and kind of separates your spirit from your magical tool, because that's what it is. And when you went to get them or order them with the intention of using them for magic, that's basically what the intention then was set, like, okay, this is what you're going to be doing. So they start to harness and hold the energy that is you. Okay, does that make sense? So who felt like maybe a sense of fear about having them, or who just kind of got the side eye with it? You know, they should have amplified some of your emotions, or like some of you said, like you felt like a boss, you felt real powerful. You know, they amplify what's really inside of you, which you don't always experience on the daily. You get what I'm saying? So for you to feel that in the presence of your railroad spikes really speaks about what's inside of your heart and what you already
Even
have.
now, as I'm sitting with the railroad spikes, I just feel really, really good.
So that means that you have really, really good energy on the inside of you already. The railroad spikes are just helping to mimic that and bring that energy take the out. Place of you, but they bring that energy out. Aisha, that's fine.
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, once you put the spikes in a jar and collect the rainwater, just leave them in the water,
or do you
rinse them? Okay, all right, I'm muting myself.
Jordan. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
I second that motion. It felt, it was really powerful for me because it was kind of like, I don't know what to expect of it. I just know that I'm embracing it, and the fact that I do live a spiritual life and I'm connecting differently spiritually now, which hence why I'm here. I just embraced it. There wasn't, at first I was like, I don't know exactly what I'm doing, you know, so they're there, but they were sitting where they needed to be, and it was like they weren't there anymore. Once I put them in that water and set them aside, that was that.
For sure. So let me translate that for you. Let me translate that for you really quickly. So you said like they made you feel really good. You felt powerful. You must have a hard time in your natural life feeling these emotions and feeling that naturally. Would you say so?
Yes.
Okay. So the railroad spikes, the energy of having the railroad spikes, the myth behind the railroad spikes, which holds a lot of truth, is that they really contain remnants of your soul. Okay. They're a link to life and death. They're definitely, they contain like remnants of your soul. So when you have an experience while having them in your presence, it's definitely supposed to show you like what you have inside of you. Okay, does that make sense? Are y'all following me on this?
It does. It does. And it explains a lot as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been feeling real drawn to mine. Like literally since I've been having them soaking, it's just like it's almost like I'm real, like I'm drawn to them. Almost
Okay.
like
So
I
the message,
was waking up and everything.
so the message behind that would be to be drawn to yourself. There's good things about you. You get what I'm saying? You can basically put your face for this part of the conversation on the railroad spike. So how you've been feeling about them is how you need to internally feel about yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So interested, intrigued, vibrational, you know what I'm saying? Those kinds of emotions are really important.
Yes, I was messaging last night or speaking in the chat that I felt a really strong spiritual shifting, and I wanted to know about that. Like, is this, this is what I'm supposed to, be going towards because of the things that I've been doing. I've been saging. I have my candles. I got my crystals. I'm really moving forward, and I'm not slowing down. And it's just been a powerful feeling. I really don't want to say feeling, but it's just been it's just been powerful around me.
Right. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I get what you're saying, but yeah, this is something that you should be doing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, I think you were going into something different, but let's stay focused. I got you, friend. Okay, we're gonna talk. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what part? Okay, let's see. We're gonna read this as well. Okay, because it's a lot of information. I'm trying to make sure that we go over what you need to know. So okay, so you acquire the railroad spikes, then you have to set your intention on what you're going to be using them for. Okay, like when I acquired mine, initially I acquired them to teach the class and then to participate with you guys, but my life took a turn and I had to use them in my legal situation. So I had to re-solidify my intention there. What are some of the reasons? What are some things that and here's the thing, your railroad spike can be used to obtain any single thing that you want. Okay, hold on one second. Can be used to obtain any single thing that you want. This says a famous and very strong curio is the railroad spike, which is used to nail down a blessing. You get what I'm saying? To hold something. We're going to talk about that. What'd you say, friend?
Oh no, I was talking to someone else. I'm sorry.
No worries. So, what's one thing that you would want to manifest with the magic that you're learning here today?
But I would like to manifest, of course, more wealth and protection. And also, I noticed that since I've had the railroad spikes, that I've been feeling like a lot more grounded and a lot more, spiritually connected and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And that's a really good thing for sure. A really, really good thing. Another thing that y'all probably want, relationships. Okay, I know that you have relationships problems and issues with that. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. Does anybody have any questions? None. Okay, so the rainwater, again, the rainwater is like moon water. It's like Florida water. It's kind of like sage, but it's just directly from the earth for sure. Now, something that I forgot to tell you guys, which I don't feel like it really matters, but maybe moving forward in the future, when you're collecting rainwater, you want it to fall directly from the sky into the cup or jar that you're using. You don't want it to hit the roof first and then slide in. You know what I'm saying? You don't want it to hit a tree first and then slide in. So you do want to kind of put it out in the open if you can, to collect it directly coming from source, from the sky. Okay, not really that important for this exercise, but when you're it could be important for the work or the magic that you're doing in your life. For certain rituals, you definitely don't want to mix it with those type of foundations. Okay, for sure. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. How difficult was comprehending just a little bit of steps that I gave you? Getting the railroad spikes, collecting the rainwater. Did anybody find that kind of difficult a little bit?
No, I did.
Rain was definitely difficult because it didn't rain here.
Yeah, collecting the rainwater. That was most
I
definitely.
did.
Resources. I did appreciate that you all gave us resources to get railroad spikes, because I live on an island and there aren't any. We don't have any railroads here, so the fact that you did make them accessible for us was a blessing.
Cool. And to be honest with you, this really wasn't my idea. This is more so of Spirit's idea. I still kind of, I agree with what we're going to learn and going over some of the stuff, but to me, this is kind of complex. So I don't know if I didn't have a lot of faith in you, but I'm glad that y'all jumped on board with it as well as you did. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm only human. So, this really takes a very intricate understanding to really be able to implement and use these properly. You know what I'm saying? This is like a very, very old tools. A lot of people don't really work with them. Okay.
Well, the only problem I had with it, Jordan, is that I put my jar out there and it seemed like it was raining, but none of the water was going in the jar. It wasn't filling up. So I was like, wait a minute, I know damn well it's raining. So I had to get me a bucket. I put a bucket right beside it and all the water went in the bucket. I said, now what kind of shit is this? So I just poured the water out of the bucket into the jar. Yeah. That's the only way I can get my water.
That's one way to do it for sure.
Okay, cool.
I know that Mark made moon water, which is okay, but some of you, it's just another step, you know what I'm saying, that you got to use when you're making moon water and stuff like that. Does anybody else use moon water for anything or know how to make moon water?
No, I don't know how to make it.
Do you just leave it under a full moon, Jordan?
There are really different techniques that you could, but yeah, blessing it under the full moon. Integrating certain crystals on top of the jar, around the jar could actually be a tool. You can make different moon waters for different things, different intentions under different moons. Okay. Under different moons for sure.
Okay.
So another thing that's important is cleansing the railroad spikes, which is what the rainwater does. But what a lot of other people do after you cleanse them is you have to, don't pay attention to this slide just yet, but you have to designate them. Okay, so you're going to have the left one and the right one. One is going to always symbolize life. One's going to always symbolize death. And if you're ever trying to call in a blessing or bring something in, you're going to always nail down the one that is symbolizing life. Okay, so the way that you differentiate between the two is going to be completely up to you. You can mark them. You can use wax. Like this one has a lot more oil on it. This is the one that I've been dressing repeatedly every night, symbolizing life in my situation. For those of you that have legal situations, life is what you're going to use to symbolize your legalities. Death is what you're going to use to symbolize the things that you don't want to happen. Like going to jail, for instance, will fall underneath that umbrella. So it's kind of it's very simple, but you do have to symbolize life and death because, again, collectively, these railroad spikes mimic your energy and mimic your life.
Okay, so you said the left is death and the right is life?
Yeah, and that's typical, yeah. But you need, once you symbolize them, which you guys can do this now, you can go ahead and designate which one you're going to have represent life and represent death. Okay. And I don't know if you guys have any if they're wet, take them out, let them dry off. But how you guys are you got to keep up with it though. Okay. So if you're going to symbolize life and death right now, you really have to keep up with which one is going to represent life and which one is going to represent death.
I have a question about that.
Sure.
So if say I want to mark my spike with the wax like you suggested, because I have those little wax seals. I'm crafty and I want to use my stuff. Yeah. But do you recommend like a certain color wax, or is it cool, or just keep it white?
Whatever color that you're wanting to use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever color that you're wanting to use. So what you guys can do, I know everyone has like vegetable oil, olive oil. What you can do is you can get some of that out of the kitchen today, and then you can just go ahead and bless the one that is centered with life. Okay. So on the left-hand side. And that should help you keep in mind like which one falls in which desire. Okay. Now the railroad spikes, are going to always be tools that you have in your spiritual arsenal, like I like to call it. So you're always going to use them to work on different things. And it's just important that you know what represents what. Okay. If you're trying to bring about a relationship, bring about blessings, you're going to be working with life. If you're working with protection, you're going to work with the death railroad spike. Okay. Because death is what you're trying to protect yourself from. And that's what you want to work hands on with to protect yourself from. You want to protect yourself.
That's the left side.
No, that's going to be the right side. Dead.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So
okay, I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, now my spikes are still in my rainwater.
Okay.
If I take, okay, so I have like 8 whatever in that jar. So I would take 2 of them out of there. Do I rinse them or do I just dry them and put the oil on them?
You can let them dry. Yeah, you can
air dry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now these,
but don't rinse them off.
Just don't what?
Don't rinse them off.
No, don't rinse them off.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah. And that's cool that you have a lot of them. So the same steps apply if you're going to use your railroad spikes for some other things that we'll talk about in a little bit. Okay. But does anybody have any questions about blessing them? That's basically what blessing something is. When you apply the oil, the moon water, whatever you have to bless something. But vegetable oil, coconut oil, these are going to be common things for sure. Okay.
I just want to make sure I have them right. Left is death and right is life.
Left is life.
Okay, thank you, because I had it wrong. Left is
right. Left for life, right is death.
I have a question. So the right is for the death railroad strip.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Hold on, wait. Because not y'all confusing me.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I'm getting it right.
Yeah, life is we're gonna do it like this. Life is going to be the left. Life is going to be the right.
Okay. Thank you, Jordan.
Okay. Thank you, Jordan.
Okay.
I've got a question about the wax on the railroad spikes.
Okay.
Do we put them on both of them, or just the one that we're wanting to
just the one that represents life?
Okay.
It represents your life, you. Okay. Now, how my friend was saying that she's got a bucket of them. So she has a bucket of them, right? So say she wants to work with something specific for like a relationship. Okay. Something that you can do is you can take a photo of both of you, and then you can take the life spike. And what you would do is you would literally take the spike and drill it and not, poke it through the photo and just lay it flat on the altar until the intention was manifested and made. Okay. Now, each day that you're working with that, when you apply your oil to it, and good thing we're recording this because this is a lot, ain't it? When you apply your oil to it, you want to make sure that you're going in the same direction, down to the point. Okay? To the point.
So I have a quick question. If I want to do one to protect me and my children, do I take a picture of me and my children and then do it the same way you just told us how to do it?
Yeah, but that's going to be different. This is for relationships specifically. So I'm going to tell you how to protect the family, okay?
Okay, thank you.
So y'all got that? Because I know that's interesting to some of y'all.
Yeah, so you said take the photo of us together and the life spike, drill it in the photo, and then lay it on the altar.
Yes. So if you have like any obsession oil, blessing oil, or anything like that that you're using for a relationship, and even when you're applying your cleansing oil to it, make sure that you always apply in the same direction.
Thank you, Jordan.
Okay. Same direction. Okay.
Got it.
Now, what you would do, so there are 2 sets of railroad spikes, right? Okay. There's a set that I always want you to have, one that's going to represent you and one that's going, and you know what I'm saying? That's the set that I always want you to have. The other set are your working sets. So if you're doing something for a relationship, that needs to be a separate set. Does that make sense? But I always want you to have this initial set that I feel like is important, the one that represents life and death and stuff like that. So don't get them confused with the railroad spikes with the intention of bringing love into something or holding love or even holding, you get what I'm saying? Now, going back to what you said about protection for your family and stuff like that, that's going to be the spike that's on the right that represents death. Okay. That's going to be you working because you want to protect your family from death, generational curses and stuff like that. This is going to be good for you to actually have in the ground. So if you own property, if you know of a place where it's if you know of a place where it's never going to be disturbed, the one that represents death is going to always be anchored in that space. Okay. Now here's another really good thing. Hold on, let me make sure I tell this to you right. Okay, so how we have our altars, okay, what you can do, and a lot of people use like graveyard dirt for this, and I was kind of talking about this the other day, but graveyard dirt, if you can't access a grave that you know where you know who's buried there, then just use regular dirt. Okay, you get what I'm saying? And what you're going to do is you're going to put that dirt in a jar on your altar. You're going to insert the spike there, and that will be your protection that you have on your altar representing yourself. You don't ever have to move it. You don't ever have to touch it. It's just like a candle, just like a talisman, a totem. It's a part of your altar. Okay, and let me tell you something. If you guys really take this serious, you'll notice your manifestations jump up. You'll notice the energy just be so much more valid in your life when it comes to this. Okay, now who is feeling like they're not getting it? Because I don't mind re-explaining something. Who's feeling like they're not getting it or understanding it, or like they're not going to be able to do this?
Jordan.
Yeah.
Quick question. Will I get this recorded?
Will what?
Will I get this recording?
Yeah, the recording will be available.
Please.
It'll be available on the website for free. So all you have to do is just go click on it. I'm gonna put it on YouTube once I get it edited. So it'll take a couple of days to be edited.
Thank you, because it's a lot of notes. Thank you.
No worries, friend.
Hey Jordan, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm all right. Okay, I'm new here. This is the first time, but I be following you on Facebook. I follow your lives on Facebook. Okay, where can I this is the first time joining this group chat. Where can I get the spikes from?
So after today,
it's been raining a lot here.
Okay, so kind of just take the information in. After today, you'll be able to get the spikes from my website. But up until this point, we just been kind of gathering everybody. So just still be here, pay attention, and then you'll be more prepared to go.
Yeah, I just been mute because I have 11-month-old and she be wide open. So I didn't want to disturb it with her in the background.
No worries, friend.
Jordan,
Okay.
quick question.
Yeah.
As far as the protection, when you said use the graveyard dirt, which spike to put in the jar again? Is it the left or the right one? The right one? Okay. Thank you.
And a way to remember this is left in life. Left in life. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be the one, and we'll talk about what you're going to do, how you're going to maneuver that one and do that one. Okay. I really like the idea. I like burying this in a place where it won't be disturbed, or mounting it in a place where it won't be disturbed, or I like you putting it on my altar because it'll travel with me. It'll go wherever I move or go wherever I go, but it just needs to be connected to the earth, and dirt is a part of that connection. You can also put this in your favorite plant. You just can never throw the plant away or never get rid of the plant. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So, that is one way how you center that protection. Yes.
The question. Now, when you talk about the graveyard dirt, does that have to be dirt where one of your ancestors are buried, or can it be any?
Unless, and this is what Spirit is showing me, unless you have those graveyards that are real big and maybe they got a picnic area out there or something, then you can get graveyard dirt there, but don't take it from a grave where you don't know where nobody's at.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying, friend?
Yeah, because mine is way in a whole nother state. That's why I was asking.
Which is, yeah. And then, so if that's the case too, you can also just get regular dirt, put it on your altar. Anything on your altar over time becomes blessed. Okay, that's why it's important. You put your crystals on there, your candles on there, and stuff like that. Okay, this by having the railroad spike, the one that represents death, the one that is the right one, by having the railroad spike in dirt on your altar would essentially keep you grounded. Okay, remember that these are implementations of voodoo dolls, and they represent your spirit. They represent your soul. Okay, so by keeping by keeping death in the ground is literally symbolizing death already being under your feet and you being above it. you being protected. Does that make sense?
Yes, I like that. Yes.
Okay.
So the death spike is automatically going in the ground for sure.
Yes, that was my intentions of using this, but I'm teaching you kind of two different things at the same time, kind of. Okay. But so there's a set of railroad spikes that you should have right now that you have. You're going to put the one that represents death in the dirt.
So can I put it? So could I put it like in my backyard? Because I have like a backyard where there's a lot of space, so I could put it like towards the back, like
Absolutely.
all the way in the back. Okay.
Absolutely.
And that one we're not putting oil on, right?
No, you're not going to put oil on that. Okay, but that one you need to make sure that it has touched the rainwater, which they both should have touched the rainwater. Okay, but instead of telling you to separate them, because really the one that you are anointing with the oil doesn't have to touch the rainwater, I told you both to put them both in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any more questions about this?
Okay, let's be clear. The right one is the death one, and that one you need to bury in dirt.
Right. Okay, but we got to back up real quick. Okay. Now, when you're burying this one in dirt, you need to keep in mind, because that's where intention is. You need to keep in mind that you are protecting your family. You're keeping everything that you currently have in your life. So especially it's going to really help for those of you who have fear of losing something, some things, someone, some people, some situations. You're solidifying that you want to keep things the same where you are. And you need to be appreciative of what you have too. Be careful about solidifying where you currently are if there's a lot of changes that you want to make. You get what I'm saying? You protect what you want to keep.
Okay. All right. One other question.
Some deep thought, yes.
Now, say for instance, you move. Are you going to start it all over? You're not going to dig that spike up, are you?
You're not. But
you
gotta kind of use your intuition. Your intuition will let you know like if it's in a safe spot where it won't be disturbed for a very long time. But if you move, and that's why I like having it on your altar, because if you move, you can take it with you. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Yeah.
You know the status of the spike.
Yeah, I got to get my dirt then. Okay.
Okay. Now this was important, I believe, because I kind of struggle with doing this topic or even doing this assignment with my spirit guides, but I think that this was important because I feel like each and every one of you are under some type of attack in your life. Your emotions just not, it's like you can't hold on to happiness. So I understand why this type of magic is being implemented and taught to you right now. You get what I'm saying? And even though it seems like a lot of information and it seems like it's heavy, I'm going to help you. I'm going to reiterate it when I need to reiterate it, answer questions when I need to answer questions. But this is just important for your journey. Okay?
How can you do like a private chat with you?
You have, well, this is considered, you mean like for a reading and stuff?
Yeah, like for a reading, like basically what's going on in my life and around me.
Okay, those are done through my website.
So I will have, okay.
Yeah, you just go and book it on the website.
Yeah, and I need to do that as soon as possible.
And I'm here, I'm available. So how do y'all feel about that information so far?
I'm very appreciative and grateful.
Thank God for the recording.
Thank God for the recording. Right. Okay. So y'all feeling good about that? Okay. So we're gonna add another step. Are y'all okay with adding one more step into this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now we're still working. We're still working with the spike that is going to either be buried in the ground in an area that you know or on your altar. Okay. So on the head of the spike, and I know that y'all probably seen this like in movies and stuff like that, people placing copper on top of it. The copper is really good, but now we have crystals, we have clear quartz crystals, we have certain types of things that we can place on top of it for an extended period of time. Okay, now if you're going to have this on your altar, put a crystal on top. You can change it out. You can change it out to bring different things and stuff like that. So I like that. But if you're going to be burying this outside, then I would suggest that you use copper, a penny. Okay.
Okay, so with the penny, if you're doing it in the ground,
it's gonna go right on top.
Okay, you don't have to glue it or anything. Just put it on there and just put it in the ground.
Yeah, just put it on there. I'm sure over time it'll fall off or get lost, but you just put it right on top.
Should we go check to make sure that it doesn't fall off?
No,
if it falls off, should we just leave it like it is?
Just leave it like it is.
So if you bury the other one, can you bury them next, like in the same spot?
You're not gonna bury. Listen to me, friend. You're not gonna bury the other one. The only one that gets buried is death.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to bury
you
life.
put the penny even on the altar, the one on the altar.
I'm good. I'm teaching a class right now. I'm gonna call you back. All right. What'd you say, friend?
I said, could we put the penny on the one that's gonna go on the altar if we choose not to bury it outside?
Yeah, but I want you to upgrade your spirituality here. I want you to use a crystal.
Oh, a crystal. Okay, got it.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can change it out and stuff like that, and it can go with you.
Okay.
Okay. Now I also feel like just with those steps, I feel like a lot of your spirituality is going to change. Okay, so a lot of you should be seeing more signs. A lot of you should be seeing really more miracles based on what I'm seeing. We do have Akave showing up here, which is literally like the devil in my tarot. So this is talking about really facing that energy, facing all of those evil things. This is going to be good for those of you that caught that generational curse class. This is going to be good to just add on to that. So everything that I've been teaching you, talking to you about is really good to add on to.
Jordan, can I ask you a question? Which crystals would you advise us to use for it?
I think black obsidian or lapis lazuli, based on the spread from what we need. You know, but you can, so because it's protection, right? So if your kids are acting up or whatever the case may be, you want them to be able to communicate, you're going to change out that crystal to maybe like a lapis lazuli, which is a communication crystal. Okay, if you want, which this is really good, if you want to protect, if you have a hard time trusting your intuition and understanding what it is that you need, you have a hard time with this, you want to put a quartz geode on top of that. Okay, the quartz geode has the most properties to protect it strengthens your connection, but it will protect it. You get what I'm saying? And again, just like voodoo dolls are worked over and over repeatedly. I know in the movies it's portrayed like, somebody has a voodoo doll and you poke it when you want to bring that person pain, you break the leg when you want to, but they're always working it. You get what I'm saying? It's the same type of concept with the spikes that represent your life. Spirituality.
And that crystal again was called a quartz geode?
Quartz geode, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Which one was for the communication?
Lapis lazuli. Okay. But if you don't have any crystals, we all got a penny. Okay.
Okay.
Sure. So I want you to do something.
And just to make it clear, the crystal goes on the life spike, not the death spike that's buried.
No, the crystal goes on the death spike that is buried.
Okay, thank you.
No worries, friend.
Okay, question, clarity. If you do the death spike on the altar with the graveyard dirt,
okay,
can you still put, if you're putting that on the altar, can you still put once you dress and everything, your life one, does that go on the altar as well, like separate over to the side?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the life one in a moment once we.
Okay, all right, cool.
I got you. Okay. Now the reason why you can switch the crystal up because it's on your altar. Your altar is something that you should be working every day, whether or not it's burning a candle, lighting a candle. You know what I'm saying? So it's your craft. You should be working this every day. Okay. Now it'll look crazy to people who don't understand what you're doing. Okay. So I really foresee that a lot of you are going to get backlash from like your loved ones and people who see this stuff on the altar. The other half of you people will be intrigued. Okay. But this is like the basis of spirituality, a little more complex than what I thought you were ready for, but very happy to be going over this for sure. How do y'all feel about it? Because I'm nervous.
I'm excited, nervous, but excited. Like I'm really excited and really, really grateful, but super excited.
Okay.
I'm excited. It's just a lot to take in. I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's me too. I just want to make sure I ain't fucking it up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, once I figure out what I'm doing, I'll be all right.
Yeah, I feel good about it.
Because this is new. Mm-hmm.
It's very much so new, but I guess it kind of gives you your power and puts things like hands on for you as well. You know, kind of makes me a little nervous because I don't have an in-depth look at everybody's individual life unless I'm reading you. But with this kind of information coming out, it does let me know that y'all are up against some heavy shit. You know what I'm saying? For us to have to really go back to this type of old craft, that our ancestors and stuff use. Really anything that I haven't implemented in my own life since the beginning, and I'll just be honest with you, this is something that I've done a very long time ago. And when I was gonna teach it to you, I got my railroad spikes, and then boom, I had this court shit come up, and I said, okay, I got the main tool that I need already, so I transitioned into that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm really happy that you guys are learning this. Okay, so we got the death one down. Again, death is going to be your right railroad spike. Okay, life is going to be the left railroad spike.
Left.
Okay, and so with you having your death one in dirt, you'll never confuse the two.
Correct.
Okay, the main important part and the finalizing part of putting your death one in the dirt is you need to make it symbolize every individual or human being that you love, care about, family, friends, the protection of them, solidifying. You don't want the people to change for sure. You get what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Okay. So let's move these cards over and let's get Spirit to help us talk about the life spike. Okay. So I guess we'll say this. We do have magic and blood that show up here. So when it comes to the life spike, that's going to be the one that you are putting the oil on and stuff like that. You can meditate with that spike. You can, and to meditate, you can hold it. You can hold it while you're doing your intentions, your affirmations, and things like that. Okay. It's really good for you for you to coat it in wax, but to do this, you would have to get like a big candle, burn it, and then like jab it through and then take it back up. You know what I'm saying? But I've experienced them coated in wax. They're just a little, to me, it feels more smoother to handle because when you have like all that oil everywhere, it can become a mess. Okay. Again, your spike, the life spike is directly connected to your life. So if something is going bad, you need money, you have a situation that's going on, you're going to dress your spike in whatever it is that your body or your life or your spirit is needing. Okay, so if it's love, if you need to cleanse yourself, and you'll cleanse your spike. Okay, you can think of this as a voodoo doll, but it's just not that intricate, but it is intricate. Does that make sense?
Jordan, what about using Florida water?
Florida water is good. I don't have any quirks about Florida water, but it's not the most powerful. You get what I'm saying? It's not the most powerful for sure.
Okay, got it.
What would be really powerful is if you put together your own type of brew or your own cleansing water or cleansing herbs and stuff like that. That trumps anything that you could learn.
Makes sense. Got it.
Okay. So the life spike you work with it is going to be on your altar. You might be feeling down or whatever like that. You just apply it. The idea is to apply because it get like the problem with spirituality is we're always doing everything like in our minds and in our heads because there's nothing that we can physically touch. You know what I'm saying? The railroad spike, the one that represents life, the left one, is supposed to give you that tangible thing that you can touch. Okay. If you're trying to bring love into your life, money into your life, abundance, and there will be certain situations that come up that you'll need to directly work with it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe speaking to your situation and saying this isn't going to get me, or for my legal situation, I'm not going to jail, you know, and I would take my railroad spike that represented life and I would move it to different parts of my home representing freedom and the ability to move around to affirm that I wasn't going to be locked up or wasn't going to be in jail. You get what I'm saying? So it's just different things that you can do with it. For those of you who are needing money, placing it maybe you know, putting like your quarters and your dollar bills and stuff like that, and then putting your railroad spike directly into that. You know what I'm saying? If you're in a bad mood, sugar is a very common overlooked herb, but it's a sweetener. You know, have you ever heard of like a sweetening candle?
Yes.
Okay, you know, placing it in sugar, on sugar, and that's where the wax coating kind of helps with that to make sure that things don't kind of stick to it. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like y'all need to really be hands-on for this information to come out. So I'm excited to see what y'all tell me about this. You get what I'm saying? Because again, this is the thing that I kind of came up with. This is what spirit and your spirit guides really had in mind.
So I have a quick question. If I'm afraid to like go out of my home on my own, what should I do with that?
Very good question, but I feel like this is going to be a good answer. So if you're afraid to go out of your home alone, then I will put your
I'm afraid to go out, period. Like, okay. I don't like going outside. I don't like going to the mailbox. I'm afraid to go out anywhere.
Okay. I would set your spike that represents life simply in the dark. You know, and maybe in a dark closet with the door closed. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So that way you're facing that fear.
Okay.
For sure. Okay.
We only dress in, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
We only dress in the life spike with oil, not the death?
Yeah, I only dress the life spike with the oil. Yeah. What do y'all think about that?
Sorry, Jordan. How did you say to bless it for money situations? You said insert it in a jar with coins, did you say?
I didn't say that, but that's the one way to do it. Yeah, that's that's one way to do it. You get the idea. And you really can't, like, I've given you the fundamentals that you can't fuck it up beyond that.
Right, exactly.
You know how to bless it. You've acquired them. You've already cleansed both of them, which is going above and beyond and stuff like that. You know to take the one on the right that's going to be buried ultimately in the ground somewhere with a copper penny on top, or a crystal that you're willing to go ahead and let go of. Because whenever if you're burying it outside, you can let go of it. But if you're going to have this in a jar on your altar, you can switch it out because your altar is protected and you can ultimately work what you have there.
Okay, Jordan. Now, okay, you put the spike outside and bury it. Now, later on, if you decide to get some grave dirt,
you cannot do that.
You can't do that.
No, you can't do that.
Once you plant it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, once it's planted, it's rooted. Okay. So you definitely don't want to unroot it. If anything, you just want to redo it. So that means getting 2 more railroad spikes, collecting more rainwater, and going through that process again. That never hurts anything. Okay.
Okay. So do I dig that one up outside or
leave it there?
Leave it there and just start a whole nother. Okay.
Yep. And when you if you have this on your altar, you're never going to take it out of that jar. Okay. If the jar falls and breaks and the dirt gets everywhere, you might as well just dispose of the railroad spike, which I guess we'll talk about since that is coming up. Which is not even in my notes, but we'll talk about that.
So when you bury it outside, like if you bury it out in your backyard, are you like digging a hole, or do you like kind of just push it?
Wedge it. Okay. Push it in and then step on top of it.
Okay.
So basically, if you're doing one for money, you're going to put that in I like the money jar situation. Put your spike in that money jar. And then if you're doing one for love, you have to do a whole nother one and put that on your altar.
Okay, let me break this down. Yeah, you just said broke it down. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it. You got it, friend. Yes,
Okay.
you got it. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. If you're doing one for because you're doing it for yourself, so this spike will represents you.
Gotcha.
Okay, so if it's 2 sets and you're doing 2 different things, both spikes have your death spike both should be buried on your altar?
No.
Just the one. But if you're doing 2 sets, is what I'm asking.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about that, okay? Without confusing everybody. So
quick question before you move on, Jordan.
Yeah.
So with the death spike, right? The only thing that's really going into that is intention, correct?
That's it, basically. Intentionally, you're solidifying it with a object or the crystal or the
gotcha.
Thank you for that question. That was a good question.
Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
I am new. This is my first class. So how long do you soak it in rainwater?
Just initially to get the tip of it in. So it doesn't
No,
have
but like, do you leave it for a couple days or?
Yeah, just however long. Just the rainwater needs to cleanse it. That's it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
I still got
they
money.
were in there for a couple of days or for a long time because they were waiting on me. So.
Thank you.
No worries, friend.
I have a question.
Yes.
I was the one who posted the other day that their spikes were claimed by somebody else. How does that affect me at the moment?
It doesn't. If they were claimed, you mean somebody else has them?
Yes, I was the one. No, I picked them up, but I was the one who posted the other day telling you guys that they were claimed by somebody else.
Can you explain that? Because I think I commented on that and I told her I wanted you to elaborate on that. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. Okay, so hold on, let me step outside. Me and my husband are going through it. We're kind of at the separation stage. During his rampage, he pretty much told me that he was going to keep my spikes and that they were his now. And whatever water was in there, he was going to dump it. So I want to say about 2 days later after I got them, I was riding around in my car and the jar happened to break on me where the whole bottom broke out and the rainwater leaked out into my car floor.
Okay. So, and I'm going to back up because I was just about to tell y'all before I forgot how to dispose of the spikes if the jar breaks. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, so listen. So you're gonna dispose. So basically, you do need to dispose of it. It was okay until like the glass broke or the vessel broke that was holding the railroad spikes in. Like he could have messed with them and took them back and forth, and that's okay. But because the rainwater has spilled out and the glass is broken, you need to dispose of both the glass and the railroad spike just simply in a black trash bag. You're gonna tie it up, and basically just close out the intention. So just acknowledging that you're disposing of it and having to restart should be good enough for that.
Okay, and then just start the process all over again?
Yes, unfortunately. But it's worth it though.
Yeah, it really is. That really had me like, okay, should I start it over again? Like, do I have some bad juju because it broke on me while he was, yeah. Okay, start all over again.
Yeah.
Which is, okay, we can do that.
For sure.
I've just been having them right around with me for the past 2-3 days in my car. Like, I didn't know if I should expose of them or should I keep them, or I wasn't sure.
Yeah, just restart that process. Now you know how to dispose of them. And the same way goes for like candles that are busted. If you're doing a specific working, but we're going to stay focused. But if you're doing a specific working and your candle busts, cracks, and breaks, you just want to dispose of it in a black bag. Other than that, the candles that you burn on your altar, you just simply say thank you and toss those.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, I need to start saying thank you.
Thank you.
Because thank you is like a closing out intention. You know, you're saying thank you for whatever you're bringing in or whatever your spirit guides are bringing and you don't even know about. Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
When we do the railroad tracks, is it safe to do self-love instead of for like somebody else?
You said, is it safe to what? I'm sorry.
like, can we use the railroad track
I
for?
can't hear you.
Hold on.
I can now. What'd you say?
I was asking, is it okay to use the railroad tracks? Like you said, it was for a relationship wise. Can we use it for a relationship with self?
Yeah, and that's the only way that you can. And I'm gonna elaborate on this a little bit as well.
Okay. Yeah, I was a little late. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. No worries, Fran. So like Fran was saying about the money, you want to bring yourself money, you could insert your railroad spike around coins, change, and money in abundance. If you're working on yourself, you're going to use the railroad spike. So say you're working on your attitude, your energy, the sugar, different herbs, you cleansing your home, you cleanse your railroad spike that represents cleansing of your body and your soul. Okay. The good thing I like about this, and this is just for whoever takes this in, if you do an egg cleanse, okay, you can do an egg cleanse on yourself, and you can also do an egg cleanse on the railroad spike, because these are supposed to harbor the negative energies that we have. Okay, so you would do the egg cleanse on the railroad spike as well. Okay, so if you don't know what an egg cleanse is, Google is your friend. Google is going to explain this egg cleanse to you, but it's basically taking an egg, rubbing it on yourself up and down, and then breaking it in water. Usually break it in water to read it, but you can break it in water and simply dispose of it if you don't know how to read it or want to read it. Okay, but egg cleanses are really good to do every few times a year. So, if any questions,
I got one.
Okay,
and it's just another clarity one. The life spike is the permanent one. If you want one for love or you want one for money, you're going to use a different spike for those intentions.
If you want one for money, that is consider yourself. If you want one for love, you need a different one. Okay, you're never going, because that's your life that represents you. Okay, these are your sets of spikes that represent yourself. Okay, now when you're asking for protection, it's connected to everything that is a part of your bloodline. So it can protect your kids, your family, and people who are an extension of your children, so your partners. Okay, that's still considered bloodline.
Okay, I'm still confused. The spike for life. Okay, that one you're going to sit on your altar. The left one you're going to sit on your altar.
You're going to do different things. You can do different things with it. It can sit on your altar. If you're trying to bring money in for yourself, you can use it in rituals like that. But you're not going to use these spikes to bring in love, or you're not going to use these spikes to bring in money for somebody else. That ain't got nothing to do with you. You get what I'm saying? Has nothing to do with your.
Okay. The only one, I guess.
So question from when you was from a voodoo doll perspective, so pretty much what you're saying is that if it needs to be representative of somebody else to bring them in money, it needs to be a second spike, because that's a second spirit, second entity.
Correct.
But I'm talking about me though. If I got a jar with some coins in it and I want to bring in money, I put the spike in the jar with the money?
You do.
But I also have the life one, which is the permanent one. I could put
We're
on
talking
my
about
altar.
the same one.
So I don't.
Just because it's permanent don't mean that you can't work with it.
So if I put it in that money jar, do I have to leave it there, or can I take it out of there? And
it's up to you. You can leave it there until you get the money that you're seeking, but there are going to be other times where you want to work with that, because there will be other things that you're needing.
So I could take that same spike and put it in between the picture and do the love thing.
That's where you fucking up. No.
Okay. That's where I was trying to get clarity. It's
no
whole different. Okay.
So when you're doing something for love, that does not, unless you're doing self-love. Okay. If you're doing self-love.
Gotcha.
Okay. But if you're doing something that involves the soul or the body of someone else, you need to use a different spike that's
Gotcha. Okay, that's cleared it up right there. Okay.
And once you're done, you put it back in the graveyard dirt on your altar.
Friend, what are you talking about?
You say, you know how you said we can put it in a money jar? If we put it in a money jar, wherever we choose to put it.
But the one that's in the graveyard dirt, the one that's representing death, the right one, that one is not touched. That's already solidified somewhere. So we ain't never digging it up. We ain't never digging it up. The only one that you'll ever be working with in money is the one that represents life.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, quick question, Jordan. So what if you want to like obtain an object or something like a house or a car? Could you still use your life one for that?
You will. That's what you will use for that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
That's what you will use for that. If you, let me make this not complicated for you. So the closer you get your life spike to what you're trying to obtain, the better. Okay. Now, what I would tell you is this: if there's a certain house that you want, okay, you take your life spike to the property, but you need to make sure that you don't leave it there. Okay, maybe you take it to the property for a visit, you stick it in the ground, pick it back up, or whatever the case may be, toss it in the grass, pick it back up, but connect it to that property that's going to be away. You can also print out a picture of the house that you're wanting and lay the spike on top. Okay, these spikes, this life spike is going to be utilized throughout your life and throughout your spiritual journey. Are y'all understanding that? So boom,
yeah.
get a house. Bitch, you pick the spike up with you and it's gonna be with you on your altar until you need another house and you need something else. You get what I'm saying?
Got it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That's it right there.
That clarified it. Now I gotta start cussing. So bitch, you need some money. Okay, you put the spike on the coins, bitch, you get the money, you pick the spike back up and put it back on your altar, or clean the change up, and bitch, you're gonna have that spike until you need you something else. Okay? If you have a health problem or you have something going on with your body, you get you some you can get a healing oil or whatever you want to apply to it, but you continuously apply it to that spike that represents life day in and day out until you start to feel better. Once you start to feel better, you leave that spike the fuck alone until you needed to get something else.
Got it.
Okay, does that help?
Yeah, helps a lot.
Bitch, not y'all understand cursing.
And in the meantime,
I don't understand nothing but a curse word.
And in the meantime,
oh God, y'all is too funny.
And in the meantime, in between, we just leave it on our altar if we're not using it.
Now listen, bitch. Okay.
Okay.
Now, bitch, listen. The one that represents death, the right motherfucking one. When you carry that bitch, you don't touch it no more.
Don't touch.
You don't touch it. You don't put your fucking hand on it. You don't dig it up. You don't do none of that shit. Okay?
Oh shit.
You get what I'm saying? Now, bitch, if you fuck around and bury it where you live at and then you have to move, you get evicted, bitch, you cannot take that one where you are going. You're going to have to do the solidification process again.
Okay.
Not that the inner voice is gone.
Yes, Lord.
Check, bitch.
Okay.
Okay, we got it.
Now, do y'all fucking understand what I'm saying?
Right. I'm quiet.
Now, so if you are wanting some shit for someone else, bitch, they need their own motherfucking spike. Okay? Right. Even if it's a motherfucking relationship and you're wanting something for y'all, don't mix your spike in that shit. You get a spike that represents both of y'all, and then you put it through the center and lay it on the altar.
Gotcha. Okay.
Got it now. We got it now. If you wanted to do for a relationship, if you wanted to do for a relationship, you leave it on the altar. What if you wanted to bury it?
Ooh.
Well,
Wait.
Okay, well, listen, bitch. Don't get it. But now, honestly, though, it depends on how you're guided to do it. If you want to bury it, for sure.
Not the burial grounds.
Right. Right.
It was just a thought. That's all.
Yeah. But ideally, when you use this and when you put it through your photo, okay. So, bitch, say this is an upright photo, and the heads are up here, feet down here. Okay. You're gonna take your spike that represents relationships. So, bitch, it won't be either of these two. You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Clear.
Okay, so bitch, you go get you some other spikes there, cleanse with the rainwater. Now you're ready for them to represent the two of you. You're gonna take your spike and you're going to center it in the middle of y'all. Okay, now at that point, this should be able to lay flat on the altar like this.
Now, what if it's two separate pictures because you don't have a picture?
It shouldn't be two separate pictures.
I'm just asking.
Okay, it shouldn't be two separate. It shouldn't be. Now, if y'all don't have a picture together, then you're gonna have to just use the picture of them.
Okay.
Okay.
So don't use two separate pictures. So if I was to put two, don't put two separate pictures face to face. Huh?
Crop them together and print it out.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And here's ideally what I like to see with this. Once that relationship or that connection is established, you're going to take it out and then you can put that in the ground as well. Yes, to solidify.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Or you can tie it up in a black trash bag and get rid of it.
Say that again, please, Jordan.
I said, or you can tie it up in a black trash bag and get rid of it.
Okay. And that's the one that's answering her question if we want to trying to bury a relationship.
Trying to
it's two different things.
But you need to watch your mind. If you think of it as burying a relationship, then bitch, don't bury the railroad spike.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of it as burying the relationship. No, that's not how I was thinking.
I know.
Okay, you just meant trying to solidify it. Okay, I was confused. Thank you so much.
You got it, girl.
I was like, wait.
But before any of y'all start doing the shit with relationship, y'all need this simple exercise down pat.
Yeah.
On now. Okay, we can always revisit workings with the railroad spikes with a relationship.
Okay.
I said, so if you didn't do the first railroad spike exercise, should you proceed with the next one? No, I should wait.
This is the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the first one. So these are the steps that you need in order to do it. And then I just want y'all doing this for right now. Don't worry about the relationship part or none of that shit for right now. Okay, we'll revisit that. We'll do a class on that for those of you who are interested.
So basically, railroad spikes and cleanse them with rainwater. That's just it.
Yeah, girl, you're gonna have to go back and watch this video because not as more than that.
Okay, I will because I came in really late, so I will go back and.
No worries, friend. I'm recording it, so once it's recorded, I'm gonna figure out how to post it.
Okay, that'll be great. Thank you.
And then maybe like at our next mukbang or family meeting and stuff, we'll refresh on it. Okay, but so are y'all gonna get started on this ASAP? Because I can't wait to see and hear like what has happened or how you.
Yes. I'm so excited. Like
excited to do it.
I'm gonna light some candles and do it tonight.
Yes.
And good.
Only damn thing I'm doing is burying this
I'll
right
do
one.
it this weekend.
Only damn thing I'm doing is burying this right one in the goddamn ground with a penny on top of it, and doing the other light one.
I heard that. I heard
the
that.
shit out that motherfucker, and I'm keeping it moving after that.
Yes.
See you in next class.
I heard that.
Now the bit's confused, but
Jordan, if we use a plant, right, instead of outside dirt or graveyard dirt, so the plant obviously comes with the flowers or whatever you decide to choose. Leave that in there or take the actual leaves or whatever out.
I mean, you can take the plant out, but you ain't gonna remove the spike.
Okay, got you.
I ain't doing nothing but burying this right one and this left one. That's it.
Okay, hold on. So that concludes the railroad spike class.